Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling. And man, thank you very much for coming by the channel, spend some of your day with me. Really appreciate you taking the time. Today, guys, we're going to dive into bass tournaments, killing bass. The reason I wanted to do this video is I've been having several of my subscribers actually, they've been wanting me to do a video on this. Some of them have been sending me pictures of bass kills from tournaments. In fact, the thumbnail on this video was one of my subscribers sent me a picture of a big bass kill that took place after a tournament at Lake St. Clair. So that picture was from Lake St. Clair. But I want to dig into this because right now we're getting in to that northern swing of tournaments that the Bassmaster and MLF get ready to go to, which is nothing but a bass killing, live scope, spotlighters benefit, run up there up north. That's all they do anymore to catch them up there. But we're going to get into this. We're going to talk, we're going to break it down, get you guys some a reality check on how these bass are getting killed from tournaments, and offer some solutions on how to fix it in today's episode. And obviously curious to get your guys' feedback on it as well. Also, guys, before we get started, a couple quick things here. Just wanted to thank everybody that's taken time to hit that subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling. That's much appreciated. And also, guys, just wanted to remind you real quick that Solar Bat still has their independent sale going on my Signature Series glasses. If you'd like to get you a pair right now for the between now and the end of the month, you can get them at 30% off, and any purchase over $98, you get a free hard case from Solar Bat. So I'll put that link in the description, or you can get them through my Tackle Warehouse link, either one there. So thank you for putting up for those plugs, guys. Appreciate that. Okay, one of the things that we get into this a lot, I hear a lot of people, I talk about environmental issues a lot on the channel and this and that, and a lot of people say, Randy, why don't you talk about tournaments killing bass? I do all the time. I talk about tournaments killing bass constantly, and I have seen it. And make no mistake about it, guys. Bass tournaments kill a ton of bass. They don't kill as many bass as the meat eaters do. A lot of people think they do, but they don't, because if you release a bass and it's caught under a certain set of conditions, more than likely that bass is going to survive. But if they're caught under a different set of conditions, which we'll talk about here, a lot of them die, but they still don't die as much as people that put a knife to the bass. And guys, I've talked about this over and over again. There's more people keeping and eating bass and killing bass than ever before right now. So don't ever discount that reality. Okay, so here's the deal with what we got going on here. First of all, bass tournaments are responsible for killing bass for a long time, and a lot of it was relegated to the summer months, the post-spawn months. For example, I fished a couple tournaments down at Kentucky Lake in June during the post-spawn, when those fish were moving out deep and they were stressed. And guys, it was a disgusting display of a fish kill. One FLWF tournament I fished down there, they had giant coolers full of 4 and 6 pound dead bass just right and left. So there's no reason. It's absolutely ignorant and stupid for any tournament organization to have a bass tournament when the water temperature is over 75 degrees, in my opinion. There shouldn't be any tournaments from about mid-May, between mid-May to say, October or something like that. There's no reason for it. That's one thing with it. You can have all your tournaments, guys, in between October and the first part of April. Don't have the tournaments when the fish are spawning. Don't have the tournaments in the heat of summer. Have those tournaments during the cold water months. You've got October, November, December, January, February, and March. You got over 6 months to have these tournaments. And if tournament organizers and directors would start scheduling those tournaments during the cold weather months, we wouldn't have a fraction of the dead bass that we have now. But there's a bunch of freaking whiny deer hunters out there that don't want to. That's what happened when they changed it from Bassmaster used to fish half their schedule in the fall, but a bunch of guys got out there and started whining to the tournament director that it's interfering with their deer hunting. So they changed it to all spring tournaments. So you got to make your mind up. Do you want a deer hunt or you want bass fish? And that was the greatest thing when we had that split schedule, but we don't have it anymore. Okay, so here's what can be done, and here's the problem with it. First of all, the warm weather months are when a lot of the fish mortality takes place, but we've seen a huge uptick in the amount of dead bass since LiveScope came on the screen, because LiveScope is encouraging people, not only LiveScope, but other type of technology like side imaging, down imaging, all that type of stuff, it's encouraging people to fish more deeper water. And when you take a bass out of deep water, that is very difficult on a bass, depending upon how deep that fish is coming out of, because you have tremendous barotrauma issues. Barotrauma issues are caused by this rapid change in pressure, and it affects the bass's eyes and internal organs. And you may release that fish, even if that fish doesn't need fizz from coming up out of deep water, and it may swim down there and be fine, but in 2 days later, it's dead from those internal organ damages. You can blame live scope for this, guys. Live scope and forward-facing sonar is probably one of the biggest contributors to delayed mortality in bass fishing today. If you catch bass out of shallow water, most of the time they're going to survive. But if you catch them out of deeper water, not so much, guys. There's any tournament that I fished at Table Rock after the fish move out deeper, I'm the only one that puts their fish in there that in the release tanks that they swim down to the bottom, because I catch them out of shallow water. Everybody else's are floating belly up in there from catching them deep. So we've got to take away from those deep water options and force people to fish shallower for the well-being of the fish. Okay, another thing with that is the fact that the way that these fish are weighed in and handled. We're in a time frame now where there's no need to put fish in a live well and take them back to a weigh-in. This is an antiquated way to fish. I'll give kudos to MFL, the Bass Pro Tour, for having that live release. You catch them, you weigh them in the boat, release them on the spot. That's the best, most conservation responsible rule that has ever been instituted. Every tournament organization should be doing that. We have no reason to put these fish in a live well and beat them up all day and haul them around all day just to hold them up in front of some people and turn them back and have most of them die. That's absolutely stupid. So the first thing is we have to get the tournament organizations to start having these live release on the spot, weigh them, catch them, put them back in the lake. They can figure out how to make it legal or where there's not any cheating. That's not our problem. That's the problem that they can figure out. It's not rocket science. You can figure out how to do that where you're not going to have any cheating incidents, or people aren't going to take advantage of that. But we have got to implement this type of weigh-in procedure for tournament fishing, simply because we're killing too many bass. We are killing bass at an alarming rate in these tournaments, and since there's more tournaments than there's ever been in the history of fishing, more tournament fishermen, it's just going to keep killing more and more and more bass, and you're killing the quality bass. It's like a lot of these fish that are caught in tournaments are above average size fish, and they're dying. So one thing I would encourage, guys, is write the tournament organizations, write Bassmaster, write MLF, write MPFL, encourage them all to go to that on-the-spot release system. That's the responsible thing to do. That's the direction we have to head in right now. And also, it's just another reason to get rid of forward-facing sonar and live scope. It's like if you don't believe the 50 other reasons why it sucks so bad and it's terrible for the sport, just the fact that it's killing more bass than ever should be enough to change it there. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think. We'll talk later.